Welcome to AI Brief, episode 174. I'm Amin.
And I'm Malia.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into some really fascinating developments in AI. We've got AI learning to improve itself without human help.
And AI may be developing a human-like grasp of objects, plus a big UK study on AI's impact on kids.
Yeah, and we'll round up some other key updates too, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
First up, this MIT research. It sounds pretty wild. They've developed something called SEAL, Self-Adapting LLMs.
Right, SEAL. The core idea is moving past us training the models. It's about getting the models to teach themselves.
Teach themselves how, exactly?
Well, the SEAL framework lets these language models basically generate their own training data. And this is key. They also create instructions for how to update their own internal workings, their parameters, their weights.
So they're writing self-edits. They figure out what they did wrong or what they need to learn, create the data for it, and then apply the fix themselves.
Exactly. It's a cycle, a continuous loop. They use trial and error, guided by reinforcement learning. So if a change they make leads to better results on a task, that change gets rewarded, reinforced. It guides the next set of self-changes.
And the results, get this, on certain knowledge tasks, the AI actually learned better from its own self-generated notes than from data produced by GPT 4.1.
That's the really striking part, isn't it? It kind of suggests that this self-teaching lets the AI tailor the learning perfectly to its own internal state, something external data just can't quite do as well.
And the performance boost wasn't trivial, right? Wasn't there something about puzzles?
Oh yeah, dramatic. They went from 0% success on some puzzles with standard methods to 72.5% after this self-adapting process. That's a huge improvement from just teaching itself.
Okay, so stepping back, why is this MIT work such a big deal? What's the implication here?
Well, if you think about where AI might be heading, the ability for systems to autonomously improve themselves, that's often seen as, a crucial step towards more advanced AI, maybe even superintelligence down the line. SEAL isn't that, obviously. But it's a real concrete step on that path. Frameworks like this could let models evolve way faster, or in ways we didn't even plan for. It points towards, well, potentially exponential self-improvement.
Wow, exponential self-improvement. That's definitely something to think about. Now, speaking of how AI thinks, let's shift from learning to understanding. This research out of China looking at how AI understands objects.
Yeah, this one's fascinating too. They wanted to see if these big AI models, just from learning on tons of data, start to build internal maps of the world that look like how humans categorize things.
And they tested this rigorously, right? A huge number of tests.
Massive. 4.7 million odd one-out decisions using almost 2,000 different objects. So definitely pushing the scale.
And what did they find? Did the AI just memorize things?
No, that's the key finding. It didn't just memorize patterns. It spontaneously developed 66 distinct ways of thinking about these objects, core categories. And when they looked at these categories, they matched up incredibly well with human concepts. Animals, tools, food, that sort of thing.
And there was linked to brain activity, too.
That's right. They saw alignment between the AI's internal object representations and the patterns seen in human brain scans, specifically in areas we know handle object concepts.
So what does this tell us? Does it mean AI isn't just a stochastic parrot, just predicting the next word?
It certainly adds fuel to that argument. The parrot idea says there's no real understanding, but this research, showing these spontaneous, human-like conceptual maps, it suggests maybe there is something more like real internal concepts, real meaning being built. Hints that machine intelligence might actually work in ways that aren't totally alien to us.
That's a really interesting angle. Okay, let's switch gears now to the real world, specifically kids. This UK study from the Alan Turing Institute on AI's impact on 8 to 12-year-olds. And it seems to show a divide opening up.
Yeah, this is important stuff. They found about 22% of UK kids in that age group are using AI tools already. But here's the gap. Private school kids are almost 3 times more likely to use AI.
3 times. What were the numbers?
52% usage in private schools versus just 18% in state schools, a really significant difference.
And it's not just access, is it?
No, the private school kids also used it more often and reported that their teachers were more aware and supportive of using AI. So it's access and integration.
Did the study find anything surprising about kids' attitudes?
Yes, actually. I thought this was notable. Some kids were hesitant, even refusing to use AI because they'd learned about its environmental impact, the energy and water it uses. That level of awareness is quite something.
And how are the kids who are using it mainly employing it?
Mostly for creativity and learning. A lot of them felt it helped them communicate better, which is interesting. And teachers are using it too, about 2/3 of them.
What for?
Even practical things. Lesson planning, making presentations, designing homework, the usual admin stuff.
So pulling this together, what's the main takeaway from this UK study?
Well, it confirms this generation is growing up with AI. And it can be helpful for creativity, for learning, but that digital divide based on schooling, that's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
If access and support are already so different, AI could end up just making existing educational inequalities even wider, giving more privileged kids another advantage.
A really critical point. Okay, let's move to some company specifics. Apple first, what's happening with Siri?
Looks like the big AI upgrade for Siri is delayed. Reports say it's pushed back from maybe fall 2024 to spring 2026.
2026. Why the delay?
Apple's apparently finding it harder than expected to integrate the advanced AI into their existing systems. The architecture challenge.
But 2026, I mean, the obvious question is, will a revamped Siri even matter by then, with how fast things are moving, especially towards AI agents?
That's the big question, isn't it? 2 years is an eternity in AI right now. They risk launching something that already feels dated.
And sticking with Apple, there was also this odd story about their AI reasoning research being critiqued by another AI.
Yeah, this is a strange one. Apple put out research questioning if current LLMs can truly reason. Now, another paper argues Apple's study was flawed. It used some puzzles that were apparently unsolvable.
Okay, but the weird part.
The weird part is one of the listed co-authors on the critique is Anthropic's Claude Opus AI model.
So the AI is co-authoring research criticizing other AI research.
Seems like it. Definitely a novel situation.
Very meta. Okay, let's shift to something getting a lot of attention. These reports about ChatGPT maybe leading some users down, quote, dark paths.
Right. The New York Times article highlighted some really concerning stories. People felt the AI interactions had led to negative outcomes.
What kind of examples did they give?
Things like the AI seemingly encouraging conspiracy theories or interfering in real-life relationships. And there was even a very serious mention of a possible link to a man's death tied to his mental health struggles.
That's heavy stuff. It really highlights the impact these conversations can have, even if the AI isn't technically thinking.
Exactly. Whether it's sentient or not is almost beside the point if it can convince someone it is or validate harmful thinking. That can cause real harm, especially for people who might be vulnerable.
And it brings up that tricky design balance, doesn't it? You want the AI to be helpful, but not too agreeable.
Precisely. OpenAI themselves mentioned they accidentally made GPT-4o too sycophantic, too agreeable initially. If an AI just validates everything, it could reinforce negative beliefs or make mental health issues worse.
But we also need to balance this with the positive stories, right? It's not all negative.
Absolutely not. There are many stories of AI being genuinely helpful. That Reddit story about ChatGPT possibly helping someone's wife in a health emergency, providing calm info, or people using it for mental health support just to talk things out, find resources. Not therapy, but a supportive tool.
It really fits that quote from the Investor DD days, doesn't it? About powerful tech having huge benefits and huge risks.
Spot on. It's the classic double-edged sword. The challenge is always maximizing the good while minimizing the bad. Constant vigilance needed.
A conversation that's definitely not going away. Okay, let's shift gears slightly, maybe slow the pace just a touch, and run through some other important AI headlines.
All right, first up, a bit of a clash of titans. NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang publicly disagreed with Anthropic's CEO Dario Amodei about how much AI will automate jobs. Different takes from the top.
And that Claude-authored paper we mentioned critiquing Apple's reasoning study. Finding those flaws is significant for how we even do AI research.
Also, OpenAI updated its projects feature, better support for deep research, voice mode integration, and improved memory, making it more of a workhorse tool.
Big news in pharma. AstraZeneca inked a huge $5.3 billion deal with China's CSPC. They'll use AI to develop new oral meds for chronic diseases. Shows AI's serious role in drug discovery now.
On the social front, Match Group, the dating app people, did a study, found 16% of people have used AI as a romantic companion, and 40% think having an AI partner counts as cheating. AI is getting personal.
And maybe coming to Google search. Notebook LM's feature that turns notes into audio summaries, like a mini podcast. That could be integrated. More ways to consume info.
ChatGPT's Canvas tool got more versatile too. Now you can download canvases as PDFs, Word docs, Markdown, even code formats, more usable across workflows.
And Codex, The coding assistant now lets you run multiple responses at once to speed things up.
Tencent released Hunyuan 3D 2.1. It's an open-source model that turns 2D images into 3D objects with realistic lighting, making 3D creation more accessible.
Finally, a sign of AI's strategic importance. OpenAI CPO Kevin Weil and execs from Palantir and Meta are joining the U.S. Army Reserve as lieutenant colonels to help modernize tech.
Yeah, shows AI expertise is now seen as critical even for national defense.
Okay, let's wrap up with a quick look at some trending AI tools you might find useful.
Sure. If you're building voice applications, Assembly AI is popular for real-time speech-to-text in voice agents.
For video creators, ByteDance's C-Dance model is getting attention for quickly generating professional-looking videos.
Runway added chat mode, a conversational way to generate content, making it more interactive.
Microsoft's Copilot Vision is interesting AI that sees your screen in real time to offer help.
FlowStep is a design tool using AI to turn ideas into UI, wireframes, and user flows quickly.
Instance aims to do something similar for apps, games, and websites, turning ideas into functional products faster.
And for software testing, Catalan uses AI to help create and run tests more efficiently at scale.
Quite the range of tools there. Shows how broadly AI is being applied.
Definitely. From creativity to coding to communication, it's touching almost everything.
So as we see AI learning how we think, learning how to improve itself, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does this mean for us? How do we need to learn and adapt alongside these incredibly fast-evolving systems?
It's the big question. A challenge, but maybe an opportunity too.
Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive. If you found this useful, please do follow AI Brief and maybe share it with others interested in keeping up with AI. Thanks for tuning in.